everyone.
Well, hello there. How are you today? Merry Christmas, Happy Festivus, Happy Solstice, Merry Saturnalia. Whatever you are doing today, whatever your beliefs are, I hope you have an amazing day. This is a Christmas Day video, so I hope you enjoy it. And yesterday I put up a video and I'd just come back from the pools. I actually went and had a spa and sauna, didn't really swim. But yeah, my eyes were a bit redder than I thought they were. Got a few comments, and I think one of them's still a little bit red. But yeah, chlorine, man. It's sort of the first time I've been in a public pools for 6 months or so, and yeah, I think it was the steam sauna. Maybe I was in there, and who knows what's in that steam, right? So I'm gonna have to make my own freshwater spa and sauna, I think. But anyway, hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's get in and check out the strange realm we find ourselves in.
Bill Gates? Mark Zuckerberg? Really strange. This 19-year-old guy drops out from Harvard and founds Facebook, okay? And now he's a billionaire. How does that happen, guys? Well, it must be the American dream. Oh, ChatGPT, guys. Really strange. If you have a dream and you just follow it, you can become a billionaire in America. Yeah. It's all just a scam, right? Google, it's all just a scam, okay? What you need to understand about these companies is they were all founded with US military technology that is public, okay? The internet is a US military technology. Google, the search engines, it's all US military technology. And they were given to these guys for free. Why would they do that? Okay? Again, if you think that we're ruled by secret societies, and it's really these secret societies that control the world, and they want this technology out there to better surveil people, it makes a lot more sense, right? Because if the Pentagon said, hey, we have this free computer that you can use, you'd be like, I'm not going to use this computer because you'll spy on me, right? But if Mark Zuckerberg says, hey, free Facebook, guys, want to use it? You're like, yeah, sure, Facebook, yeah. He's a dork from Harvard. Of course he can be trusted, right? Same strategy, okay, guys?
Yeah, well, I think we all know, about Zuckerberg and Musk and all these different people. They didn't start their companies. They were given them. Facebook was DARPA. And this is the thing. We get all these stories of these people who create these massive, big tech companies, become billionaires. And they always start off in a garage, right? In their mum and dad's garage with nothing. But suddenly they have, everything they need to build this amazing tech and launch these massive companies. But like Professor Yang said, that they're all they're pushed by the military industrial complex. They're put out there for a purpose. That's why they're given this tech, right? To push out there to get us all involved. And like we're seeing right now, it all starts off fun, but turns sour, right? 100% of the time. And it's because it's all a scam. It's all a script. It's all put out there, all of this tech to make us easier to control.
Mark Zuckerberg's wife, Phil Collins' wife, Barack Obama's wife, Netanyahu's wife, Bill Gates' wife, Jeff Bezos' first wife, Jeff Bezos' second wife, King Charles' wife, George Bush's wife, Richard Nixon's wife, President Macron's wife. Oh, famous wives, you've been looking at them all your lives. But now, tell me, can you see, or maybe it's just me? Patrick Stewart's wife, Bill Farrell's wife, Terry Crews' wife, Adam Sandler's wife, JFK's wife, Elon Musk's wife, Albert Einstein's wife. Oh, famous wives, you've been looking at them all your lives. But now, tell me, can you see, or maybe it's just me? Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me.
Ah, well, yes. Famous wives. Geez, if you want to, yeah, have a go down a rabbit hole, just go through the photos of the presidents of the United States and their wives. It's creepy. And the old royals. Yes, what do you see? What do you see there? Do you think there might be some Trans Am work going on there? Let me know in the comments.
We are taught that architecture evolves slowly over time. But after the 1800s, something strange happened. The entire world changed its building style almost overnight. For centuries, cities were filled with copper domes, towering spires, star-shaped foundations, and elaborate stone facades that looked less like decoration and more like advanced engineering. Then, suddenly, by the early 1900s, they were gone. The domes disappeared. The spires were flattened. The ornate stonework vanished, and the buildings that once looked like energy devices were replaced with simple brick rectangles and steel boxes. Why? We are told it was fashion or cost-saving, but that explanation collapses the moment you look closer. Many of these old-world structures were built with materials and techniques far more expensive and far more complex than anything used today. Copper roofs, limestone blocks, perfect symmetry, mathematical precision. Yet the people who supposedly built them left almost no records of how they were designed or constructed. And here is where the mystery deepens. These buildings resemble components of an electrical system. Domes shaped like capacitors, spires shaped like antennas, star forts shaped like grounding grids, all of them appearing worldwide long before electricity was invented. Then, right as modern power companies emerged, the architecture changed. The domes were covered or removed, the copper was stripped away, the towers were demolished, and the buildings that once looked like receivers and transmitters stopped being built entirely. It is almost as if the world abandoned a technology it no longer understood or was no longer allowed to use. So what happened in the late 1800s? Why did the old world stop building structures that look like electrical devices? And why did the new architecture erase the shapes and materials that could have harnessed atmospheric energy? Because if the old world truly had a different power system, then the sudden shift in architecture might not have been an evolution. It might have been a replacement, a reset of how the world was meant to be powered.
Ah, yes, the old world and the buildings, the architecture. We've seen so many photos now of buildings that have been stripped. Like they've had their steeples removed, sometimes the domes, the towers, and all the facading, right? Like we see this a lot. And I do tend to think that, a lot of the buildings that were at least shown in the world's fairs, and there's still, a lot of them around. I think that facading has been added to a lot of them, right? With this whole sort of watery, Phoenician-y kind of theme that we see everywhere. But this is the thing, like the old buildings were designed with sacred geometry. They were designed to be harmonious with the earth energies, the natural earth energies. They were placed on ley lines and ley line nodes, where they intersect and all this stuff. And it was a grid that was built out to enhance all of our lives, right? And the realm in general, the energy, the frequency it's putting out. And of course, when you invade a world, you can't have the people empowered. So that's why it was all taken away and taken offline, in my humble opinion. But please let me know your thoughts. And also, please give me a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell, and that way you'll be notified of all my future uploads.
You watch videos, you watch clips of the first moon landing, everything.
There's no stars.
There's no stars in the background. It's just black sky, which doesn't make any sense.
You really don't have to convince me, but this is more for the audience.
It is. It's for
I
the
do
audience.
not believe it happened.
You know the videos of the people jumping on the moon?
Yes.
Like they walk around, they're taking their first steps and
Yeah.
everything. They
Yes,
look all
yes,
jolly
yes.
and joyous.
It looks like they're...
Yes, the moon, the moon. Did we land on the moon? They also did a landline phone call, right, to Nixon, President Nixon from space. And they also brought back some rocks, which later were found out to be petrified trees from Earth. So they're not doing very well, right? But let me know, what do you think the moon is? Do you believe it's real, a big rock floating around? Do you think it's solid? Do you think it's a projection? Do you think it's a reflection? Yeah, please let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Most people don't know that there were robots as well as rovers on the moon while we were first going to the moon. But you didn't know anything about those because the media focused on the astronauts. And it's the astronauts through which we gain vicarious access to space because they have mouths, they have brains, they have a childhood memory, they have school teachers that can talk about those astronauts. And I've yet to see a ticker tape parade for a robot. Sputnik was not just some orbiting spacecraft, it was a hollowed out intercontinental ballistic missile where they took out the warhead and put in a radio transmitter. The military knew this. That's what founded NASA.
I think you're crazy.
Well, there you go. That's Neil deGrasse Hole. I actually made that video. I think it's like 5 or 6 years ago now, quite a while ago. But yeah, this is what he came out and said because obviously everyone was saying, how did you film the moon landing? You know, the moon capsule landing on the moon. Like, how did you film that? And he came out with that story for real. Like that's before AI and all this kind of stuff. Well, who knows what was before AI? But yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in there just to let you know this is what they do. Their stories are so stupid. But then, when we start to question them, they just bring out one of their experts, right? Someone who knows the truth that we should look up to and listen and never question, to just spout crap. Like that's just a dumb story. And really, if anyone believes that, you've got to question their mental wellness, right? Do a brain cell count. But yeah, let me know in the comments. What do you think about Neil? Is he fake, fraud, or expert that we should listen to?
Nuclear weapons are faker than space. And a nuclear weapon was never dropped, ever, in the history of humanity. Now, I know you're going to be like, oh, that's not true. What about Nagasaki and Hiroshima? Well, let me tell you something about Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So, Tokyo was devastated from a series of fire bombings. This is the aftermath of a firebombing series in Tokyo. Now let that soak in. So if we go to Hiroshima and look at the aftermath, it looks just like the aftermath of a series of firebombings. And how are power lines and telephone poles still standing after apparently the most devastating explosion humanity has ever seen? And you know what's crazy? There was actually a hospital that was right next to the drop zone in Hiroshima of the nuclear bomb, and everyone in the hospital actually survived. And what about the nuclear fallout, to where the place should be uninhabitable for hundreds or thousands of years? It's a flourishing city now. Do you see what I'm saying? All you have to do is use common sense and connect the dots. And if you watch all of these videos of nuclear explosions, the Nuketown testing, it's all fake. It's just like the moon landing. It's a Hollywood production. Like, it is so unbelievably obvious, but since the invention of the television, people have been more brainwashed than ever. It's an MK Ultra experiment, but I made everything up. Nukes are real. Entertainment only.
Nuclear weapons. Now, they started off with the atom bomb, right? Splitting the atom, and then they went smaller. Now they're splitting the nucleus, or so they say. Yeah, I agree. I don't believe in nukes. If you look into Hiroshima and Nagasaki, people were moving back into those cities like within a month of after the bombing. And like you said, where's all the radioactive fallout that we got so bombarded with in the 80s and 90s, right? Nuclear, and the whole Cold War, it was running over from that. And, all those movies they used to show us like The Day After and total destruction of the world because of radiation fallout. We've got no evidence of that happening ever. Also, check out, Fukushima, that was supposed to kill the oceans. And of course, Chernobyl, which again, that's a flourishing nature reserve now, pretty much. And when you look at the footage, he showed a bit in there of nuclear bombs. It's all models. None of it's real. It's all a scam. It's just like the moon landing that we saw, right? These are all Hollywood productions. And because they own all the media, all the TV, news stations, and the social media, they put this out. And, I talk about this a lot. This is the 2D world. This is the simulation. The 2D world is the false, the copy, the false reality. And, we get shown all this stuff and we think it's real, right? Just like what happened at Bondi, right? We get given this narrative and they tie it to our emotions and all this kind of stuff. But 99.999% of it, at least, is just fake. It's just all made up.
If we are actually just like fish at the bottom of an ocean, and every ocean leads to another ocean of different densities and different worlds, every creature would be different, right? So the fact that we have the ability to go in water and go down to a certain pressure, and we can interact with whatever animals are below that pressure but can't really come up, it's the same thing above us. Like I said,
it was water. How could that be? They were already underwater. But
so the only beings that we can contact at the top of our ocean, not the water ocean that we go swimming in, this ocean that I'm saying we live in right here, this little less dense body of water that we breathe in water and breathe out water, we just don't know it, like the fish.
Or the marine law, the law of the marine kingdom. You ever wonder why, whenever it comes to money, the terms always relate to water? Have you ever noticed that? For example, liquid assets, cash flow, currency. What is a current? It's the current of the sea. You bring your money to the banks. What is a bank? It is the two banks that run along a river that directs water a certain direction. Frozen assets. Somebody could be drowning in debt. A person might not be afloat financially. What about a loan shark? Or how about a rebate? That's like when you go fishing and you put the bait on the hook to catch somebody with a deal. Did you know the word floater is the old word in English for boat? When you hear the word sail, notice that it's a direct link to the word sail in a ship. But they say, oh, these merchandise over here are for sale. You ever hear of a business going underwater? Or how about a relationship? Or money laundering?
Yeah, well, there were some good ones there. I think the last one he was going to say was money laundering, right? And again, water. One that I picked up was he said merchandise, right? Which is like mercantile, merchant. They're again, they're sea terms, they're maritime terms, right? Because it's all maritime law, but it's all directly connected with water, right? And if you're into this kind of topic, I've got a podcast, Tartari Australia, and we've actually done we're up to 6 podcasts now on the water, asking what is the water, what are the oceans, what's under the oceans, and there's a lot of interesting connections in there. Like the internet, the first internet cables were laid in the 1850s, before they were even in towns, right? Through the ocean, which they hadn't mapped yet. Then, there's fish gods everywhere, like Awanas, like the hat that the Pope wears. There's so many ties, and we're still going into this because we're discovering so much about the oceans and what are they. So I'll leave the link below because I've actually put together like, well, two mega streams, one today and one tomorrow, putting all our water podcasts together. So if you have nothing else to do, go and check that out. Or even if you have something else to do, because it'll be much more fun watching my podcasts. Wow. I just wanted to show that clip because there's another sort of viral-ish clip that's going around doing the same thing, right? But you can't really see how they're made, and it looks, I thought it was AI. But in that one, you can see that these are cut out of like concertinaed wood, cardboard, something, right? And very clever. I'm not sure how they carve them, but what gets me is how they go back together so perfectly. Like they literally look like polished marble or something, don't they? But there you go. It's just very good artists, I guess, carving these concertina frames. Well, there you go. Some men and women being awesome. Just thought we'd put that in, to lighten the mood a bit. And again, I hope you're having a awesome day wherever you are, whatever you believe. I hope you're surrounded by people you want to be surrounded by. And if you're not, if you're taking the day off, if you're hanging out by yourself, or you're, or with a small group and you're not getting into the whole Festivus theme, then yeah, go check out my podcast, my mega stream about the ocean. And it's on today and tomorrow, and I've premiered them, so there'll be a chat so you can talk away to other people on your level. So whatever you're doing, I hope it's awesome, guys. And please do give me a like, leave me your comments, what you thought about this video. Of course, if you're not subscribed, what the bloody hell are you doing? Hit the subscribe button and the bell button, all that other good stuff. And most of all, stay awesome because you are. And I'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.